viewers, and welcome to another Social Web Cafe interview. Today we have Angela England, a Renaissance woman whose mission is to empower others and educate them in a variety of ways. Today she will be talking about her success as an ebook writer and the program that she has that will help you do the same. All right, we're live.
Yay.
We have Angela England here. Hi, Angela. So glad that you could join us.
Yeah, it took some doing, but we managed.
That's excellent. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Angela England.
Okay, so I am a mother of 5. I live in rural Oklahoma with my husband, and we started when my first son was born. I was working outside the home, of course. And once he started getting really mobile and we realized that I couldn't take him to work with me anymore, we realized that we didn't want to hire someone else to raise our own child. And so I started looking for other ways to make money from home so that I could be home with my kids. And when we did the math, the difference from what I would make outside the home and what it would cost to, have daycare and the extra gas money and all of the things that are associated with working outside the home was only $250 a month. And I thought, well, I can surely make $250 a month from home doing something. And when I started in 2006, really just doing kind of SEO, content creation kind of stuff for people. And from there have branched out into, of course, owning my own websites, ebook creation, and a lot of different managing websites for other people, kind of professional blogging for businesses and that type of thing, and make usually more than $250 a month without too much trouble. So it's definitely possible. And I like to say if I can do it with 5 kids, then anyone can do it.
If you can do anything with 5 kids.
I had to kick them out of the house just so I could, pretty up my hair and everything for the interview. But some days I don't get to shower, but
that's good. This is visual, so we don't know that. That's good.
It's all good.
Yes. You mentioned doing conferences. I'd love to hear about your speaking engagements, what you speak about, where you speak.
I speak at a lot of different blog conferences right now, or social media conventions and that kind of thing. A lot of times I'll speak on SEO. It seems like something that people don't quite have a grasp on, especially bloggers who initially started just to have kind of an outlet. They wanted that creative outlet, place to put the pictures of the kids for their mom to see. So then once their blogs start becoming bigger and they think, oh, now I have to do SEO, like it's this big scary thing, and it's really not. You can write quality SEO work and still be writing with your readers in mind and thinking about them and what their needs are, and just format it a little bit differently to make it friendly for Google. The other topic that I speak a lot about is ebook creation. Now that I've written a couple that have been successful, it seems like that's kind of the next step for a lot of bloggers. They think, oh, I'll have a blog and then I'll have this book deal. And with the publishing industry the way it is today, it's harder and harder to break into the print industry without a large following. So a lot of bloggers are turning to ebook creation and just producing their own kind of works for a variety of different reasons. There's a lot of different reasons to do an ebook. But that's one of the topics that I've been speaking on a lot the last couple of years.
That seems like something that would really be of interest. I know as a musician, it's similar with the indie musician versus the major companies.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper to produce that digital music and outlet. It's also a lot easier to pirate it, but you get the pros and you get the cons. But it's easier to sort of self-publish, if you will, as musicians. So that makes sense that also applies to the written version.
Yeah, and with today's technology, the barrier of entry is so low. It's not like you have to have $1 million to cut a record, or have an agent that you're paying thousands of dollars to write your own book. You can pretty much do it in your basement if you want to.
Exactly. And it might be more comfortable. You can do it in your pajamas, so that might be a
You
good
have
thing.
no idea how many books I've written in the middle of the night in my pajamas with Dr. Pepper.
Exactly.
So,
Tell us about the ebooks you've written.
so the first one that I wrote was really a learning experience. And I say that because I think I maybe sold like 5 copies. And I thought it was brilliant. But the problem was the topic wasn't something that was very saleable. It was something that a lot of people have covered in a lot of different ways. And it was information that people could get for free. So they were less likely to pay for it. And once I started figuring out kind of that sweet spot between fulfilling people's needs and finding the topic that's going to either be teaching them a skill, saving them money, or saving them time. If you can find an ebook that covers one or preferably more of those things, find a topic to cover, then your ebook is going to sell a lot better. My next ebook, the one that really enlightened me to the possibilities, was called Making Money Blogging, Moving Beyond Banner Ad Sales. And I put it out in 2009. And at that time, the big thing for bloggers was like, oh, if someone buys an ad in my sidebar, I have arrived. And what I wanted to show people was that, that might be $50 a month if you had, halfway decent beginner page views and you could get someone to buy into you. And this was before Kindle was even, popular. No one really had anything like that. This was the middle of 2009 when I launched this ebook. And by the time I did my bookkeeping at the end of 2010, that ebook had contributed an additional 5 figures to my income. And that was for the year of 2010. I wasn't doing anything with that ebook. It was already written. It was already made. I had written it the year before. And the idea that you can create content and package it in such a way that people are going to buy into your message and what you have to share and continue that process for the next year or two, that's huge. I mean, that's doing work one time and continuing to get paid for it month after month beyond that. So that's when I really thought, okay, this has a lot of potential. The ebook that I put out last year was 30 Days to Make and Sell a Fabulous Ebook. And it basically just takes people through a daily lesson for 30 days of some teaching and instruction on the different aspects of writing an ebook, and then a daily lesson, which basically just walks people through the process of creating an ebook of their own with tips on how to market it and sell it. So you're not just stuck with an ebook that you have and then no sales, which I've been there and done that. So I know how not to do that now. The ebook takes you through 30-day lessons. So each day you get a little teaching and instruction, and then you get a daily kind of challenge or homework, if you will, to walk you through step by step. And the idea being that once you get through the entire book and you do all 30 lessons, you'll have an ebook of your own, and you'll even have sales accrued.
Excellent. And that comes from your experience. I like how you said that you know what not to do. You've experienced both, and you've experienced the success, but you've also experienced what doesn't work with the 5 sales.
Exactly. Well, and that was a topic selection choice on my part. That wasn't very smart. One of the analogies that I use when I'm speaking on this subject is knitting. So if you're a blogger who talks about knitting and you want to write an ebook, there's 2 mistakes that bloggers make when they're choosing a topic for their ebook. And that is they go too broad or they go too narrow. So if you go too broad, what you're doing is watering down your audience, and you're offering them a product that everyone probably has already. So in the example of knitting, a blogger might write an ebook like The Ultimate Guide to Knitting. And what they have to realize is that someone who's interested in buying that book has 10 copies of that book already on their shelf. They probably have Knitting for Dummies, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Knitting, blah, blah, blah. You'd have to write 1,000 pages of ebook to make it worth their while, to make it interesting enough for them to want to buy it, in addition to what they already have. The other problem that I see in terms of topic selection is somebody going way too narrow. So they choose something like knitting purple hamsters. And they put out an ebook about knitting purple hamsters. And you're going to get sales. You're going to sell that ebook to the 5 people on earth who want to knit a purple hamster. And that's it. No one else is going to buy the book because no one else is going to want to know about knitting purple hamsters. The sweet spot is to find something that is specific enough that it's kind of catchy. There's kind of an interesting twist to it without being so broad that you get lost in the crowd. So maybe something like 15 projects you can knit in a weekend, or the baby shower gifts you can knit in 10 hours or less. And so you have a specific kind of thing, catch to it, if you will. Baby shower gifts would be huge. You're saving people time, you're saving them money, you're teaching them a skill, you're fulfilling all 3 of those things in one ebook. Projects you can knit in a weekend. That's really specific. Like, I know if I start this project, it's only going to take me 2 days to do, and then I'm going to have this thing that I'm done with. So, something like that with your topic selection is going to be a lot more saleable. It's going to be something that people are going to be, and be interested in buying, as opposed to the ultimate guide to knitting. And I already have all those books. So
that works on me. I mean, I know how to knit. I don't knit, and I don't know that anyone would want what I knitted. But you're absolutely right. When you gave those 3 scenarios, I'm not probably going to want to do a purple hamster, and I don't need an ultimate guide for something I do. But all of a sudden, you talk about, wow, you can do this in 10 hours, and it starts to sound fun, even if I don't enjoy knitting.
Yeah, and then have something cool to take to a baby shower. But whatever your topic is, whether you're a food blogger or a tech blogger, you can find that kind of topic and make that what you choose to focus on instead of something really specific.
I love how you use knitting as the example, because it's so easy to pick a topic in social media and come up with an angle. But who could actually, other than Angela England, come up with an angle for knitting that would make somebody who doesn't like to knit want to go buy the book? That's brilliant.
There's a reason why they brought me to Type A conference to teach the session, how to blog 100 blog posts, or how to brainstorm 100 blog posts in an hour, because I'm pretty good at coming up with crafty ideas. One of the cool things about the ebook is when people buy my 30 Days to Make and Sell a Fabulous Ebook, they get access to a forum group where they can ask questions. They can look for the daily thread if they have a specific question, or if they're struggling trying to decide between 2 topics, they could put them in there as a question, and then I will actually answer their questions personally. So that's kind of a perk for buying the ebook.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Sometimes it helps just to have someone to bounce ideas off of.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the benefit of kind of connecting with other people. You can kind of feed off their momentum.
Exactly. And that encourages us, too, if we're having that moment where there seems like an obstacle, we can kind of fly over it when we have the encouragement of other people and been there, done that. Now, you got my attention when you mentioned NaNoWriMo alternative. But could you tell our audience what NaNoWriMo is? I realize I mentioned that, and there might be a lot of people that are, what on earth did she just say?
Yes. So NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. And the idea is that in November, you write 50,000 words in a month, which is a lot, but it's totally doable. Hundreds of people do it every year. And so it's just a group of people that get together on the website and just encourage each other through the process of creating this novel in a year. And some people do it just for the exercise of writing. Some people do it because they truly have a novel that they think has a chance of being published, and they want to get it done and get it submitted to publishers and that kind of thing. And what I choose to do usually is try to create 50,000 words of nonfiction for myself, whether that's magazine articles or last year I was working on book proposals, and one year I literally did 50,000 words worth of articles and blog posts. So I busted my butt, but anytime you set a huge goal for yourself like that, you really will accomplish more than you realize. Even if you only got halfway through and you had 25,000 words, I mean, that's a lot. that's big. So I always say set goals for yourself and then push to see how far you can get towards that goal, and it's usually a lot further than you think.
And so really was of interest when you mentioned about the 30 days in writing an ebook, because that really kind of is something I'm more interested in, writing an ebook than a novel. So
Right.
tell us about that. Are you marketing it as a NaNoWriMo alternative?
I didn't write it with that intention, but obviously NaNoWriMo is huge now. There's so many people who just enjoy that kind of challenge of writing, and like you said, partnering with others can help push you through when you get stuck. And I think that's true for nonfiction writers as well as fiction writers. So the problem with NaNoWriMo is that if you're doing nonfiction, there's not really a spot for you. You're not truly a novel writer. Even if you do a memoir, you're not truly a novel writer. It's nonfiction. So I liked the idea of kind of creating that rebel group. So we're doing NaNoWriMo, but we're doing it our own way, which is kind of fun. You can't just, color in the lines exactly. You have to create your own drumbeat, do your own thing. But I had actually done a NaNoWriMo challenge with a couple of friends of mine where we had decided that we would send a pitch every day for 30 days to a magazine. And so we were just sharing in our little Nano group the pitches and queries that we had sent out to print publications and print magazines. And several of us were published as a result of that challenge. And so I thought it would be really cool to take a group of people who maybe they've been dragging their heels, or they've been thinking about doing an ebook, but they just didn't quite have that last little thing to kick them over the edge. And, maybe having a group of people who are doing it with you would be that kind of last thing of, okay, this is my time. I'm ready to do this now. And there's no excuse. And I would love to think of, several dozen more people who have an ebook to offer by the end of the year, and to start that new year with a fresh product that's going to define your blog or maybe take your career to the next level. It's a really powerful thing. I made a little 15-page ebook for my website, Untrained Housewife, and offered it as a free gift with a newsletter subscription. And since I implemented that a couple of months ago, I have had triple-digit subscribers to my newsletter every single month since that ebook, which is about a 70% increase in newsletter subscribers. So that's a huge impact just off of a little ebooklet, and it has a beautiful cover. It's I had it professionally designed, and obviously I put a lot of effort into creating a product that would look nice when people get it. It has a point. It helps define the website. But the fact that putting that out just had such an impact on just that website alone, and my newsletter subscriber rate was very powerful. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. It's not like you're trying to write the next, doctoral thesis or something so crazy. But just to get your message out there in another format can be a very powerful thing.
And that's excellent. Like you said, even if someone doesn't want to go out and be the next greatest author out there and become a publisher, the e-booklet, as you call it, I like that term, e-booklet, to be able to gain subscribers to a newsletter, a valuable newsletter where they can send out information about their services and so forth. So this really has a broader range as far as audience than just the writer who's only a writer.
Yes, very much so. And I think that's the misperception with ebooks, is that you have to be an author already, but you really don't. You can just be somebody who has a message to share on any topic, whether it's a cause or something that you're passionate about. I know I have a friend who she has a blog purely about postpartum depression, and I've been encouraging her for years to write an ebook because she has so much knowledge and heart to offer on the topic that I really think there's a need for it. And I think that's the key, is that if you have something that you enjoy talking about, then why not do an ebook? You can only benefit from it, whether it's to hone your message more so that you more clearly understand the focal key points of what you're passionate about, whether it's to create an additional revenue stream, or just to better clarify who you are to your audience. Because sometimes when you have a clearer picture for your audience of who you are and what you stand for, then they're going to be more likely to pass that on to others and really pinpoint that.
Exactly. And even if it doesn't benefit you in the professional end, just to even understand who you are as a person can certainly help in your your personal life, which then will trickle over the professional. So it sounds like it's one of those things that you're going to win in some area.
Definitely.
By going through the process.
Even if you only make 5 sales from your, pregnancy ebook, like I did it was like 2008 or something. It was a little bit early for the ebook craze. No one had a Kindle or really knew what an ebook was, and my topic was something you could sign up to Baby Center and get text to your cell phone for free. So it was a poor topic choice on my part, but what I learned is that it was a lot easier to do than I thought it would be, and it did give me some added credibility in this space that led to an additional paying gig. So even though I didn't get a lot out of sales, I got a lot out of it for myself, and it changed people's perception about who I was as a writer.
Exactly. And, it's actually invaluable because it is a foundational piece in your success now.
Very much.
You had that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It gives me something to tell people that they can laugh at me about. So it's all good.
I like that. If we can't laugh at ourselves, life is just not nearly as fun. Now, I have a question on the comparison of NaNoWriMo, if you don't mind if we...
Yes.
With the 30 days, do you have a similar program where there's people log in and a forum and kind of band together and encourage each other in the program? And do you have little certificates like NaNoWriMo and the little badges and things like that?
Don't have a certificate. We should totally get a button or a badge or something for people. That's a good idea. No, I do have a 30 days hashtag that we're going to use on Twitter. And then I'll post weekly updates on my blog. And then I did just get an email from the SITS girls saying that they wanted to kind of host something on their forum community as well. So I'll probably be doing guest posts over there once a week, and maybe we'll have like our forum thread over there. But on angeengland.com, I'll have weekly kind of tip and trick post, and then people can leave their comments there on how they're progressing and that kind of thing. And I don't have a word count minimum the way that NaNoWriMo does. It has to be 50,000 words. I just have kind of the daily thing through the ebook process. And once you're done, you have your book, whether that's 20 pages or 200. I've done ebooks of both sizes. So, whatever your goal is, whatever it takes for you to cover your topic, then that's what it would be.
Well, that makes sense. If you have an ebook in hand or an ebook ready for digital download, you sort of like accomplished the 30 days. Is that you're thinking too?
Yeah, I can't. What's really exciting to think about is the first week in December, I'll be able to put up a post on Ange England that says, check out all these ebooks, and link to the people who have ebooks finished and done. And that's a really cool thought to me.
Excellent.
To see more of kind of my students or whatever. I don't know if they're really my students, just friends that I've encouraged to go ahead and take that step. And then to be able to say, look at what they made. And the really cool thing is the topics will be so diverse and varied. I have people who are gardeners, musicians, crafters, cooks, whatever their topic is. So It should be really interesting to see the diversity.
And where do people go to sign up and to buy your book?
They can go to angeengland.com, ANGENGLAND.com.
Well, thank you, Angela England, for sharing this. I'm really excited about your book.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go visit your website.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking the time to educate us and tell us about November. And are you calling it the same name as the book?
Yeah, just the hashtag would be 30 days. And that's kind of what we're calling it. So
Excellent.
30 days, and it's just the 30-day challenge that hopefully by the end of November we'll have scores of people with creative ebooks that are going to save people time and save people money and teach them an invaluable skill.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Angela England. You can find out more about her on Twitter as well as her website, angeengland.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.